Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave birth to time and space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Mad Gamer. Right now, you are looking at Death Stranding's newest trailer, and I just wanted to take some time to do two things. Going to be a dual video here. We're going to break this down for the new people who have been interested, continuously asking me about Death Stranding. Then we're also, in between, adding the reveal of what I'm sure this game's going to present to us on a gameplay theme plus a lot more. We're going to dive deep into it. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. Disclaimer, I am here as a representation of myself, not my brand, not Kojima's brand. We are just trying to break this down in the most comprehensive way, in a simple matter, without getting too deep. If there's something you don't know, then I suggest you Google exactly what I'm talking about. First and foremost, watch all three trailers before you even dare to try to understand what I'm about to speak about and get into some of what this game is doing. First and foremost, Death Stranding is created by Hideo Kojima, one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest creators of video games in the industry. And what he does with his games, and why I love him, is during the development process, he'll share his inspirations, he'll share his creativity development about where he's drawing from. And without me getting into any of those things, there's a lot that he puts on social media and talks about in interviews that help you understand what his games are going to be. And what's amazing about his games is not only do you get to see that before and you fall in love with the process and you can read books and watch movies that he's watching and seeing just to see his inspiration, there's also the other side of what the lore, the background, and deeper view of the game to really touch you and dive deep into it. And we won't get too crazy with that because I'll spend hours trying to break that down for you but it is one of the key parts of what makes Kojima very special. He's open and shares some of his concepts, themes, and his inspirations for these games. That said, I'm going to be displaying all three trailers and breaking things down for you. On a core aspect, let's start off for the new guys. What is Death Stranding? Well, no one can tell you exactly, but from three trailers and all the interviews and the continuous social media updates, it is going to be a game where you play most likely in third person and you're going to be in an open environment. I wouldn't want to say open world just yet because that has been tossed around, but it's an open environment where you have the freedom to explore. It is an action game, so expect your standard shooting and different things like that. One thing that Kojima is rarely known for is his gadgets. As you see in this beginning trailer here, a gadget on a guy's shoulder, it is called Tada Tada. I mean Pada Pada. That's a translation, so I could be pronouncing it a little bit incorrect. But the point is he has a lot of great gadgets and a lot of great items. You're gonna have fun with the gameplay. I promise you, it'll be very, very fluid, just like all of the Metal Gears have been very fluid and very new and innovative in many regards. But that's the core and the simplicity that I want to offer to start off this video, because I want you to be intrigued for those who are new and give it a chance. I understand that Kojima always comes with a lot of controversial, a lot of deep theory type of uh, baggage, but I promise you, when you get into the gameplay, you'll just enjoy it as much as possible. Now, what are the themes and what are the concepts of this game? On a deeper level, this is where we're going to dive into it. You're going to get a game that's called Death Stranding, but as I've said in my last video, it is actually Life Connections. And perfect timing is this trailer here where the Norman Reedus main character, aka the player, is looking at himself. And it's already confirmed that when you die, you will be in this scene. Not necessarily a loading screen. It is actually gameplay that we're looking at here. And what it does is it's a new mechanic. Instead of saying game over and starting over, you're in this realm. And we'll dive deeper into what this realm is going to do and what is it going to offer and how you can really get immersed in the experience. I will say that you're exploring this area. And as you can see, it's in first person. I believe unlike the game, which is going to be in third person, this segment of when you die will go into first person and allow you to explore that area, pick up items, and gather information about what is happening in this universe. So the clues and breakdowns, it's gonna be very deep. But the reason I bring that up is because Death Stranding is a defying title. And what I mean by that is Kojima likes to defy his audience. And Death Stranding actually means life connections. I put that in the most basic way in my last video. It was easier to explain and break down there when you see that. But the core of it explains how deep this game goes when it comes to trying to build and connect players to each other. And that they do that in many regards throughout these trailers, breaking down what could happen and how it would happen, teasers to explain what how do you connect in this Death Stranding, right? So we're gonna get into it, but the core value of it is really that we have our environment as far as Earth, and it looks like it's being destroyed by these creatures, whatever you want to call them. And while this can be completely understandably accurate, it can also be the exact opposite. These creatures are trying to save humanity from themselves, as they are so destructive, and we destroy and pollute our planet, as you see here with the crops. So that connection of our Earth with these creatures, and then never mind that, just the way the Earth is being destroyed through us, and these creatures are coming from another dimension or whatever planet. However you want to break this down, there's a deeper level that I can get into in a little while, but that is where the connections start to come together. Of course, you can easily connect all the umbilical cords, the baby connecting to Reed, the Earth wires connecting to this bigger being. There's all of those type of connections, but you want to look at what the core is breaking down about our humanity and what we're doing to the world, how we're destroying it. So in a way, I think what Kojima's addressing when it comes to the brand new current events in the society, you know, we're polluting this world, and is global warming real? I think he'll touch on that and speak about it as we go forward. As we get deeper into the game, we'll see how that all connects to Norman Reedus and his character being special. And as we see here, he has this necklace, and this necklace, and this is where it's going to really define the game and the themes and the concepts. The necklace talks about some really deep stuff, and it really addresses um, physics in many regards. Things like Einstein's general relativity, Maxwell's equation. You know, they have a lot of stuff like Newton's second law of motion. And this game actually really addresses that, especially with the most recent trailer really displaying it. But we'll get into that as it pops up. So on this first trailer, we got to see and speculate about what is happening to these animals. There's umbilical cords connecting them to the earth. Global warming is real, or is it? And how to address these issues on a society basis. And this is where Kojima consistently does these amazing displays to present to us and give us food for thought. Each of the trailers start off just like this one does, with these poor sea creatures all dying. And you think about it, the earth is 70% water. So if all of our water gets destroyed in whatever regard, through oil, pollution, you name the different aspects, then what do we have on earth? What is earth anymore? So while there are dimensions when it comes to the physics and the chain, talking about physics when it comes to like Einstein's general relativity, and all of these things add up to time travel or warping time and space, and really interesting things through the necklace. We're looking at it in real time, the effects and what is Kojima creating, and his concepts are coming to life within that world, and how does it all come together? Is there a super being that comes and tries to take back the world? Is this pre BC? Is this after our time in the future, or is this before? And I like to think it is before, because what Kojima can do with this art is present how humanity had to restart and rebuild, and that's how we all are where we are today. But this evolution in this game will showcase that evolution from Homo sapiens to Homo ludens. And honestly, Homo ludens is actually very well connected into this game, and we're going to get into that part of it in a minute here. But as you see, there's key elements here. Why and how does this earth have this water issue just flooding suddenly, as we already know that this becomes the creatures taking over an area, and it just looks like they're taking over deeply. And this can be in the middle of the game, somewhere far along, or right in the beginning, introducing the universe, as Del Toro is scared, but he faces his demons and heads right towards the so-called enemy, which he's a character trying to do more, and it looks like he can be an enemy, and people have already planted that seed. But it's clear that with Kojima games, the themes and concepts jump into a deeper dimension about war is never okay, anti-war. So I believe he's still going to have that as a core aspect, and all these characters and these creatures might look like the enemy, but they might be trying to save the world once again. So again, it all connects together, and then these humans who think they're fighting back, they're stopping the creatures from saving the world and all the issues that come with it. So it's an interesting concept here, with how they're all connected through the umbilical cord, and this guy connects and controls them with his gestures. And I think there's more to this picture than we're already seeing, and it goes into another level. Is he being controlled by these creatures, or this other dimension, this world trying to survive, just the earth itself trying to survive? Or was the anomaly of the Big Bang Theory that's within the intro of the third trailer, is that deeper into a whole new species existing trying to take over Earth? Or did the humans invade into their planet. How does this all come to terms? So easily, you can say this is on Earth from all the structures that we've seen and the format, but that gives us an idea of, okay, so then some big anomaly happened here where everything got destroyed and there's a whole new species in this planet taking us to another world. And this is where the third trailer really puts it all together about what I'm trying to say here and how I'm trying to open up the concept and theme with this game about the connections. And one thing that we get to see on a deep level and a simple level is how Norman Reedus is very unique. And in this part here, the rainfall is from another dimension and it excels life, causing death. So Norman Reedus is unaffected by this, as we could see. And I wouldn't think it's his suit, but you never know. It might have connections to his suit. But what's interesting is these other guys wearing different suits are affected by it, and we gotta wonder where and how does that all connect. But now the universe really ties in together. He has a dream catcher in his back. Maybe that's a protection realm, but here he has a corpse that he's looking at, overseeing, and it's just really odd. And now this is where we get to see the time fall, is what Kojima calls it, the rain that excels time, basically making the plants grow and die, and making this guy go from a young lad to an old mate, for my Europe heads. So he's excelling in age there rapidly. And then this dimension here, what is their purpose and what are they trying to do? Now, are they in another planet trying to survive, or are they on Earth with these creatures invading and causing destruction? Now, are these creatures really the bad guys, or in the end of the day, are they trying to help the humans from destroying themselves, because the environment and the world is becoming so bad that it's gonna destroy itself? And this is where, for me, it is always a Kojima-esque type of theme to do this and play with the players' perception of what's right or wrong and dive deep into it. As they take the corpse, it's like, stop polluting the earth. The earth is pretty bad. And what is really happening? These are the themes that really touch you with Kojima games, where you look at the villains, supposed villains, and they're actually most of the time trying to do what's right. And the heroes, aka us, the players, tend to be the ones who get tricked into doing wrong or going against the odds. So for the game, the themes and concepts really touch a new perception to this with these creatures, rather than just military players in Metal Gear. So now these creatures sitting here, okay, let me take him. Let me take him. He's getting old and dying. I'm going to take him from you. Why would they take him? That's right. So these are the questions you want to ask, the deeper questions. Why would they take him? Are they trying to save him? Is that what they're really trying to do? But the humans don't understand that, so they try to kill themselves. And I'm not going to let you take him alive. I'm not going to let you destroy it. That's one way to try to perceive this. And the other way that I made my other video was talking about how they're stopping these creatures from taking people alive, because that empowers them. It makes them more powerful. Now again, this character right here is being told to be Mads, and it's possible, as we see in the last trailer, doing the same gesture. He's here as a guide, supporting Norman Reedus in many ways, and it's very interesting. But we can't confirm or deny his role. Pretty sure, again, he's not evil, he's not good, he's in the middle, trying to figure it all out. And as we see again, this guy again stopped from taking the shooting, and maybe they wanted the baby, right? And he tries to kill himself. Don't do it. Are they saving him? This is the type of perception you want to have with these games with Kojima. Are they saving him from killing himself? And they're taking him into a new dimension. Now, we're going to get back into the chain that I talked about earlier with Norman Reedus' chain, talking about these equations of physics and different things from Einstein's general relativity to Maxwell's equation. There's tons of interesting parts that I won't get into the chains specifically, but they help you understand the physics that it's happening in this universe. So Norman is not affected. Everything else is warping into maybe a wormhole, aka this creature who's connected to the earth through the umbilical cord in the stomach is lifting up this character to put him into. So now the theme and the concept is to believe that he got killed, but maybe he got saved. And Norman Reedus is the one who's so unique, who has to live in this time for the rest of his life, and he keeps dying, or aka going into this realm that I talked about earlier. In this realm here, he will not die and not ever have to suffer death, but having eternal life sucks more, doesn't it? Especially when you see what's happening here. We're going to get into this part. I'm going to actually rewind it. So the suggestion is that this creature eats the person and the world explodes. Supposedly, that's what happens in this anomaly here. Is that true or not? We will see when the game comes out. It can be the exact opposite. He comes to life. And now he's in this water here. And this is gameplay, folks. He's in this waterfront here, floating. And you're in first person looking at him. And now you can explore this area. And everything you're going to see from here on out is someone playing the game, exploring the area. So when they pan up and they're looking at that, I wanted to take a pause here and give it a quick look. And the reason why is because Kojima has talked about multiplayer being a component. Now, multiplayer doesn't always necessarily mean PvP versus player. It can actually mean co-op. And there might be co-op aspects. There might be some things where when you die in here, you're together exploring. One thing that's for sure is you're going to be exploring these waters, trying to gather your items and gather clues and gather information to help you. So when you see these other players, it's possible that they will be online players who've also jumped into the server of Death Stranding. You follow? So the key component there is that this can be the area to connect the players to life. So now I wanted to pause and really illustrate that one more time. A co-op aspect where it's a new mechanic in the gameplay that when you die, instead of dying, you go into this ocean and you're in first person looking at yourself, outer body experience. And as we see, there's multiple players, possibly players, who can create and help change, shape everything that you're seeing and help you find clues, etc., etc. We're going to play this real quick so you can see what I'm talking about outside of the alien coming out and floating and swallowing someone whole. Let's look at, as they explore, what do they see? They see everything is inverted, upside down, but they also see the dream catcher, the car door, all of these elements, but they also see themselves down below. So this is everything that they collected is back, and now they can be reborn again. Life connections. This is where, for me, where I see this gameplay as well as the theme of the game, and it's important to note that Kojima wants to add clues, just like he did for PT, which is a game that made players figure out what's going on in different languages and different clues. He brought it all together, and players had to figure it out to understand and solve the riddle. And I think this game can do that with this core mechanic here. And we're going to go right back into it right after, right when he dies. Possibly he's not even dead. Again, Death Stranding is not about dying. It might be being reborn, the resurrection, having new life. And I know that this is starting to get into my deeper concepts and themes. I didn't want to do that, but here we are. Again, this is not scripted. I'm just giving you my thoughts because people have been asking. So this is 100% Kojima saying this is all gameplay. Then the rest is me theorizing from what he has said, that he wants to connect players together in a multiplayer aspect where they don't have to win or lose, and it's all about working together. As you see multiple players floating, and as they go up, the creature takes them. So I believe all these players can be taken, and they're all Norman Reeduses, or are they? How does that work? We'll see how that truly works. Players will be Norman Reedus is what is said. So now as they go through, they're collecting these items. He collects that item. He's collecting every part that he needs and taking it with him as he gets reborn. Once again, I repeat that. So those are just aspects that you can theorize and feel like there's a deeper message there. And one thing that I wanted to note is that that might be VR, guys. That might actually be VR, as you can play it through your TV. Normal gameplay is the way we've seen here, but you can also go right ahead and get the VR exclusive content. I think as a PlayStation exclusive, there's no way it won't have a VR component, and that makes sense to have that as one. So just wonder and think about how when he gets resurrected, not just here in the other past tense, when he wakes up again in both trailers where you see Norman Reedus, he wakes up and he has the baby. In the original, he has a baby raw, and in this one, he has him in this container, and it's like, wow, you saved me, keeping me alive, thank you. And now what is this baby and all that? We're not going to start theorizing on any actual theories. We're just talking about Kojima's themes, concepts, breaking down a part of what's going on. So you can expect that as gameplay. I can't confirm the co-op aspect, but everything else I said is factual. And what we see here, what's really deep, is like, wow, like, you know, the tears that come down his face, you can give them torment reasons. You can give them deeper breakdowns. Who knows, right? But those are theories for you guys to create on your own. I have no time for that. We're going to make this video very long, but there are a lot of gold nuggets in here that I want to address, because I do understand that people don't like, which I've already gone too far, too deep, the fact that they don't understand. Most games are so simple. It's like, oh, we're going to go save the world. Okay. And this is not about saving the world in that regard. And I think it's more about the players destroying the world and these creatures possibly being the ones to try to save it, as they are the superior beings of the worlds. Possibly. This can be a theory that you guys can get into. But I want you to look at that in an open mind, in an open state about, you know, you talk about global warming and the issues that are happening in this world and how Kojima might want to address them. So Norman Reedus, imagine you wake up from, we're going to pause it here. You wake up from dying again. This time, it is a lot deeper than before. The baby is 100% there right in front of you. He is not in a container, and it is right in front of you. So what makes the difference between this part and the one before, where we can theorize, again, all you guys, theorize what exactly put these parts together? How does that connect? You know, we do know that he keeps waking up after being in that water. That basically rejuvenates him and puts him in the game. And now I personally believe that he'll be placed in different areas certain things that happen, you know, different environments possibly, as every time you die, it affects the universe as well. And you dying, not really dying because there's no dying. I don't think Norman Reedus dies. I think he's an entity, and he's a representation of continuously playing an endless game. And he is Luden at his greatest form. The whole breakdown that connects this game is the logo of Kojima's Homo Ludens. And if you don't know what Homo Ludens is, look up Homo sapien. That's basically humans. And then the evolution of humans is those who play, which is humans evolved and were able to play, not just survive, not just thrive, but play. And I think Norman Reedus being the player and us being Norman Reedus makes it a deeper concept when you talk about him being an entity and endless lives, never dying, Death Stranding. He's going to be continuously coming back. And imagine that, going through that. And this connection of the baby is possibly him. And him living in this warped time zone and this time frame where he can never die. And he keeps himself alive through the baby. And or we can easily put this as connections through a relative or something in that regard. But we're not going to speculate on who is the baby and how is it related. That's a different theories. We're not into the theories right now, guys. So far we see what happens, and now he's determined to figure out what's happening. We see the umbilical thing as the baby's been ripped from him, something of a insanity here on how this all plays out with the handprints. And you're like, oh god, there goes the physics chain. That's what we're going to call it, the physics chain. It's an awesome chain, and it has 5 different equations on it. And then we see here what is the true theme of this game, with global warming being a good topic, a deep concept, and how humans are destroying the earth. These superior beings, the 5 equations that connect together and connect the player to this universe. These are the core aspects of what the concepts are going to be. But again, for me, what I like the most is the overall arc of Norman and his uniqueness in this universe and where it all connects. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I think we're going to see some special parts. We're going to continue to get into one more quick look and then break it all down simply in that regard. So we're in a universe, a third-person game, action game, with new mechanics that have never been seen before in video games. And as we see the rain, which is called timefall, it speeds up the life. So these plants live fast, grow, and then die fast. But this gentleman here, who's awakening, maybe from another one of those Death Strandings, doesn't get affected. He has Porter. He's possibly the only transporter. Few very unique people in the world that can do it. And he's the one to save the world, right? That's what they say. So this concept is not affecting him at all. And he's in this place, possibly Earth, looking to go on a mission that went wrong as his car got destroyed. And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. Right now he's looking at the corpse. Is this corpse dead? Or are they trying to resurrect somebody? How does it work? Are they experimenting and trying to figure out what is really happening with this universe? And then it all went wrong. And now this guy's dying. And then what's funny is that this gentleman here also isn't excelling. His age isn't excelling from what I could tell. The one that's hurt is, so maybe it has to be blood transfusion, blood effects through blood. That's a possibility. But this gentleman here does not pass through time. But already this man below who's injured is affected by the time fall, aka the rain, which is from another dimension. And as we see, the other dimension also has these creatures who are human-like. And what is their purpose is my question. What are they doing? Are they really the enemies, or are they trying to preserve the earth? And we think they're the enemies because they're taking us. I mean, who wouldn't think they're not the enemies? Concept-wise, it's easily to determine. And these devices here really do a good job of displaying some new technology that Kojima is going to be bringing to the game as far as gadgets and items. So Norman Reedus with his suit, we don't know what exactly is their purpose with this body, but you can tell they purposely put that gold on their face. It wasn't like it was something that was just naturally there. And it shows when someone gets taken. Maybe it summons these creatures, because that's when all of it started really taking off. And maybe they wanting to come out to the next side to stop these humans from destroying the earth in that regard. It's all theories, right? In the end of the day, but Kojima's really, really keen on bringing a deeper aspect to this game and the concepts of what he's doing. I think about The Great Escape, and I think about Kojima trying to take Norman Reedus' character, aka the players, and let them know there's no way out. You can try to escape all you want, but you are the homo ludens, aka those who play, and you'll play forever. And even in death, there's no escape. Like these guys here that kill themselves trying to avoid from being taken. But in the end of the day, those who play will play forever. There is no game over. Never be game over, right? Shout out, shout out, shout out. So that's it, guys. Those are some of the key aspects. I know you want a theories video. Not gonna happen. I did break some things down and gave you pieces of food for thought on what could be, and I wanted more or less to have people theorize off of what I'm saying, more factual aspects of this. So I love it. I don't know if I want to get deeper into certain parts. I've already gone too far into a lot of parts that I didn't want to today. But again, the equations, the chain that Norman Reedus wears explains this part very easily and tells you how the 5 creatures are all one of the equations, and they combine to create this anomaly here where it's warping physics as we know it. It's warping time and space and everything in between in a new way to create these amazing cutscenes here in the game. And it's like, what is really happening, right? But you gotta love all of it, because it takes you to another dimension in gaming and really being artistic, I'm sorry, in that regard. So we're gonna go back into this part again, which is gameplay. Think about that. You're in this world, you're looking at Norman flying around. Don't look below, don't look down, but you're in there floating around, and you start trying to figure out who this guy, what's this guy about, what is going on. And as you do that, you see all these other people, players possibly, and they're floating around also. So I don't think you control Norman in this part. I think you just look around as an outer body experience, exploring the sea. And it becomes extremely odd when you see a whale upside down swimming. You see all of these different parts of the world inside of this ocean been taken with you. Now you were completely naked, but now you're clothed. You collected all that, did you? So then the world resurrects you, and you're reborn, and you come back into the game. These are the type of things that I think will happen consistently in a new fashion. And now it's probably not going to be genre breaking. I think Kojima is going to have to do something extra, but it is going to be very organic if he can put this in a deeper level outside of just when you die in new other ways. I think we can enjoy a new style of gameplay. Now, of course, this is going to be action. This part that I'm talking about has nothing to do with the fun action of Death Stranding that is possibly coming. But it's all speculation. We're going to take that pause right here. As you see, there's no stopping what's happening. So whatever happened, happened. There's crater here. The edge of the crater, song from the Metal Gear trailer. The edge of the crater here was affected earlier. And now you're seeing the 5 beings over it. The 5 equations that are on Norman Reedus' chain all together as one, creating this new anomaly in the universe of Death Stranding. Those are the things that interest me, intrigue me, and I want to see, where does this go? Is this a global warming type of theme where, you know, Earth has become destroyed because of humans and we are struggling to figure it all out? And we're trying to put it together, and these creatures who did, in the theme of Big Bang Theory, created the Earth and created all these life and et cetera, and what does it do to the next world, and how does it all affect us? And that's where this game can really talk about the evolution of mankind and where did it come from, and all of those beautiful themes that can be the core of this game if Kojima does it right. And that is my statements and opinions. I didn't do too much theories. I did touch on a couple of ideas for you guys, and I'm sure everybody gets annoyed that I don't just go for a theory video. Apologies, but this is again more of a general post on what we already know about the universe and how it all works together as one. So, you know, the whole equations and physics being a big part, just like Norman Reedus' chain basically explains it all the science behind it, and then how does that create our universe in this game? And that's where you see these hands, you see all of these effects where Norman doesn't die and he goes into space and time, aka the water, and comes back to life, resurrected. And you see the baby as a symbolization of resurrection. In regards, I haven't seen him resurrect without the baby just yet, and he does lose it here, but he hasn't resurrected without it. So it's an intriguing aspects that I personally think can be a lot of fun to see when the time comes. But we'll see how he dives deep into it. And then look at this. I forgot. I said the 5 equations, but there's more than 5. I have to take a step back into my theory there. It looks like 6 exactly. There's 6 of them on his neck. I was thinking of the equations and what they all say, and there's new information on that. I'm sure you can Google it somewhere about these chains for Death Stranding around Norman's neck. But the equations are deep. That's why I wouldn't get into any of them. And the 6th one is a mystery, and I believe that equation is actually our next character, who we see in the next trailer. He's going to be a part of the equation when it comes to helping Norman and provoking some things. I think he's after the baby, and he's possibly trying to save the Earth in some way, but it might not be the right way. So it's like the baby gives us access to the Death Stranding, which is life connections where you won't die and you continue no matter what. that's possibility, right? And now you got Mads, who's chasing and hunting down the baby because he says we have to eliminate the baby because it's giving uh, the creatures access to our world and it's destroying our world. Maybe that's a theme. Then you got Norman trying to save the world. He realizes the baby is important. He's trying to protect it. These are all kind of themes that you can get into and with ideas as we see Del Toro sitting there with the baby. How does he have it? And is this a mechanic where all the heroines or villains have a baby? There's a lot of theories and concepts to that, which is another story. And I just think that it'll be interesting to see how that works out and what is the deeper concepts. And I think, to me, the baby is games, and it's Homo ludens itself as far as those who play. And Kojima's tributing that to us as gamers. And it's a deep concept, but it's fun. It's organic. It's an amazing thing that he does a lot with his games, is send personal messages, deeper messages for us as players, and really get into that. And I know a lot of people just say, oh, Metal Gear's crazy, but there's so much depth to the current events that he addresses, the personal messages he sends out to his players about his life, himself, the player's life, and themselves. And this game are already showing with the baby, with being reborn consistently, with consciousness itself, as you see the baby and Norman and Del Toro here kind of become one for a quick second. And the same thing happens with Norman Reedus. This consciousness of connecting in some way, shape, or form in real life or in the games is a deep message that Kojima's sending with this game. So we'll see what happens overall. There's too much to get into when it comes to this 3 trailers, and I've already spent a lot of time breaking it all down. I am happy to get into the discussion of it because it's fun, but I'm not going to do theories again, guys. I will do these type of breakdowns again and again, as this is a live stream. But I'm simply just playing the trailers and talking about what I feel and think and what I'm sure of in many regards of what I've said. The suggestions are suggestions, but what I'm sure of is very clear and direct. So expect a lot of what I'm saying to be 100% cemented, just like my other video was confirmed in many regards. So here we go. This guy who's not a villain, he's just trying to secure maybe the baby. Maybe he's trying to help save the world also in his own way. I think saving the world is a lot of things, you know, different ways to look at it in this game. So we'll see. Just beautiful, beautiful graphics again from Kojima. Just amazing, amazing work. So feel free to contact me. Feel free to start talking more about it. I'm happy with this. I love it. I did retire from the theories, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy indulging in suggestions for the fellow theory guys to write and have fun with it. You know, this is about engaging with each other and enjoying the journey to the development of the game, and that is a game in itself, and it's why I love Kojima. And I think we can just continue to enjoy. And with that said, I'm going to close it out with this trailer. You can leave now. Thank you for watching. Hit me up and get involved with me, and let's talk more. Again, this is just simple breakdowns about the game overall, and all the questions asked on the comments here I will reply to as we go. Thank you very much. See you soon. Enjoy the last tidbit of this trailer.
There was an explosion, a bang which gave birth to time and space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion, A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
Shit, they're here. I can't get you out! Sam!
Shut up. Don't even breathe. Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion. An explosion that will be our last. Ah, yeah.
PlayStation